Protectionism is an economic policy where government takes measures to protect its domestic industries from foreign competition. A government may try to protect its own businesses from foreign competition by making it harder or more expensive to buy goods from other countries. This can be done by using the following trade barriers. The government may decide to add taxes on imports, which is a tariff. They may limit how much can be imported into the country, which is known as a quota, or give money to local businesses to help them compete. These are known as domestic subsidies. They may have laws in place and regulations that restrict international trade, government legislation. The aim is to help local companies grow and keep jobs within the country. Tariffs are taxes imposed by a government on imported goods. The purpose of tariffs is to increase the price of foreign products, making them less competitive compared to domestic goods. This encourages consumers to buy more products from local producers, supporting domestic industries and protecting them from foreign competition. As tariffs are a tax on imported goods, they do also create tax revenue for the government. In 2018, the US imposed tariffs on imported steel and aluminium to protect its domestic industries. The tariffs were 25% on steel and 10% on aluminium, primarily affecting imports from countries like China, the EU, and Canada. Import quotas are restrictions set by a government on the quantity or value of a specific product that can be imported into a country during a given period. The goal is to limit the amount of foreign goods entering the market, thus protecting the domestic industries from excessive competition and preventing market saturation with cheaper foreign products. The EU has imposed quotas on the import of certain agricultural products, such as sugar and dairy, to protect its farmers. These quotas restrict the amount of these goods that can be imported from non-EU countries. Now, there are other trade barriers that are used to protect domestic industries and also make international trade more difficult to occur. These are government legislation and domestic subsidies. Government legislation. This refers to laws and regulations set by a country to control or limit trade. This can include complex product standards, safety regulations, or licensing requirements that foreign businesses must meet to sell goods in that domestic market. These rules can act as barriers by making it difficult or expensive for foreign businesses to comply, indirectly reducing imports. An example is Japan. Japan has strict regulations on food and safety and product standards, which act as a barrier to imported food products. Foreign companies must meet stringent requirements, which can be costly and time-consuming, making it harder for them to compete with local businesses. Domestic subsidies. These are financial aid or support given by a government to local businesses, typically in the form of grants, tax breaks, or low-interest loans. These subsidies reduce the production costs for domestic firms, allowing them to sell their products at lower prices and compete more effectively with foreign imports. Subsidies can act as a trade barrier by giving domestic companies an unfair advantage over foreign competitors in the local market. For example, the US government provides subsidies to its agricultural sector, particularly to farmers growing crops like corn, soybeans, and wheat. These subsidies help keep US agricultural products cheaper in both domestic and international markets. There are, however, a number of problems with trade barriers. One of the most significant risks of imposing trade barriers is retaliation from other countries. When a country introduces tariffs or other barriers to protect its industries, other nations may respond by imposing their own restrictions on imports from that country. This tit-for-tat escalation can lead to a trade war. Another problem is the higher cost and reduced consumer choice. Trade barriers, like tariffs or import quotas, typically lead to higher prices for consumers. Tariffs increase the cost of imported goods, and domestic producers often raise their prices as well, knowing that foreign competition is now more expensive. There is also the issue of inefficiency and the lack of innovation. By protecting domestic industries from foreign competition, trade barriers can allow inefficient firms to continue operating without improving their productivity or products. In other words, domestic industries may become complacent, knowing that they are shielded from external competition. And finally, tariffs may be ineffective in the long run. While tariffs are designed to protect domestic industries, they often prove to be ineffective in the long run. Protection from competition can sometimes cause domestic industries to remain uncompetitive, and when tariffs are eventually removed due to trade agreements or pressure from trading partners, these industries struggle to survive.